Try Jesus. Try Jesus. Try Jesus. Try Jesus. He's the way. Try Jesus. The truth, the life. Try Jesus.
What's up, Auburn? Pastor Crespo here with an emergency special episode of the Try Jesus Auburn podcast. This is, we're here to do, I don't know if we want to call it an intervention, but this is a very, very important episode you don't want to miss, because I'm sure that you've probably heard all of the wailing, the gnashing of teeth, the rioting and everything, all because the Buffalo Bills lost the football game this past weekend. With me today is Pastor Claudio Gomez. We're here together, maybe consoling one another, but trying to console our friends in the Auburn area.
Yeah, that's right.
The game this weekend, we're already well into the playoffs, and I what's funny, I didn't watch the game. It was on Sabbath. I was watching the game anyways, but I was on the road. But didn't watch the game, but I was I was in my mind. I wanted to know how they were doing because we were planning a big thing, right? We were going to get together and just invite a bunch of people, have a party if they made the AFC Championship and then Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me back.
Yes.
It's good
You're not a guest anymore.
I'm not a guest, right? But it's good to be here and just to share with everyone. Thank you again for watching us. We pray and hope that today the topic that we're going to have will be a blessing and I guess a reflection as well. How do we deal with disappointment, right? Because a lot of people, that's how they felt. That's right. When they saw the Bills lost, their hopes was really high. This is it. This is our year, and it feels like every year. If you follow sports, if you are into it, you always, if you are a true fan, you're always gonna say, "This is our year. This is the year that we're going to make it. This is the year we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. We're gonna win everything." It happens in all sports, but it was heartbreaking, no doubt, for those who follow the Bills, of course. And for anyone who follow sports, I feel like at some moment we have gone through those moments and how you deal with them. I guess today we'll talk a little bit about the game, of course, and we'll talk about in a personal level how you deal with disappointment.
That's right.
There's definitely a relation between life disappointments and sports, right?
Well, I think that's part of the purpose of this episode is that you may not realize that if you're big into sports and you're big into God, it's not that big of a jump to see that there are some definite lessons that cross over.
That's right.
From sports and walking the walk of Jesus, as odd as that may seem. So there's similarities between being a fan and being a disciple.
Follower, disciple,
There's similarities between being a player and also a disciple.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about that because there's certainly some lessons, So we didn't watch the game, but let me give you a couple of stats because I was able to look at it afterwards.
So some of the highlights and stuff.
Yeah, I have one it's a low light. It's not a highlight. So let's see. Of course, the score was 33-30 in overtime. The Bills, they lost, ended their season. But here are some of the things that were interesting. 5 turnovers. For those of you that care about that kind of thing. The quarterback did not play a good game. Josh Allen, he just didn't have a good day. But there was one call that everybody's talking about. And actually, I have it here. I got to find it now. The call had to do with, I think this is it here. The call had to do with a catch that offensive player made. Cook, I believe his name was. He caught the ball, hit the ground, and then the defensive player wound up with the ball. Now, according to the rules, if it's an even between both defender and an offense guy, the offensive guy gets possession. So if they hit the ground holding the ball together, the offensive guy still gets control of the ball, and it's counted as a completed pass. This guy hit the ground, and when he hit the ground is when the guy rolled away and had it in his hands. That should have been a fair catch. They called it an interception. That's why people were upset.
Yeah, a lot of people are really upset, and they're saying that this is one of the most controversial calls in NFL history. That's of course, if you're from the Bill perspective, that's exactly how you must.
They were robbed.
They were robbed. They were upset. They were not happy. Was tons of comments on the different social media, Instagram, Facebook. They
That's
were
right.
not
That's
happy
right.
at all. And
We're gonna send one of these to each referee
Oh,
for that was at that
right.
game, because apparently,
Yeah. So, and even at the end, Josh Allen was saying that he was upset. He was not happy.
yeah,
He felt that he let the team down, the fans down.
people thought it was their year.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was hard. It
yeah,
was, again,
yeah.
I guess the best way that I can say it was heartbreaking. And this call, again, people are still
Yeah,
really upset about it.
yeah, yeah,
How can a call? It's just a simple call, for
yeah, yeah,
so people can say, oh, it's just a call, but
yeah,
that call could make the difference.
yeah.
Will
Could have
make
made
the
the
difference,
yeah.
in their
That's
game,
right.
and by ending the season by with that call. It's difficult to
Yeah.
go through and process. Have we ever, you who are watching today, have you ever felt like that was a close call, that we say, that you almost lost everything? Have you had one of those moments when you felt like, man, that was too close,
Yeah, yeah.
and hope, I don't know what was your mindset, if you changed something, or if you after that situation you say, there's something that I need to change, there's
That's
something
right.
that I need to review, because that was too close to,
Right, right.
and now I need to do something. But in this case, this call, they lost everything, and the season ends, and knowing the way that they were expecting to.
Well, it was interesting. I was surprised that when you look at the video of the post game, the players were crying. These are
Yeah,
these are grown men, tough guys,
yeah,
and they put their heart and soul into this game. And of course, they didn't win. But if we're not sportscasters, we're not
yeah,
we're
no,
not analysts. But I've learned enough as I've been watching things, and analysts after the game, that they didn't lose just on that one play. There were other things. Like I
Yeah.
said, when you have that many turnovers, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah.
I was watching a few other games on Sunday, the Texans and the Patriots, and same thing for those Texans and Patriot fans. Although if you're Patriot fans, we're gonna pray for you. But
Careful now.
I know we're
do
kind
have
of
a lot
close.
we do
We're
have a
close.
lot of followers.
That's right. That's right. So let me ask you. Of course, the episode is not, it's not a sports podcast, but we see definite comparisons, disappointment, anger, frustration. When you put everything you have into something, and your legs get knocked out from under you,
Yeah.
man, those feelings, right?
Yeah.
Before we switch gears, though, I just want to ask you just another sports question. When I know you're a big baseball fan.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So tell me, in your time being a sports fan of baseball, have you ever had anything like this happen, where your heart it felt like it was just ripped out?
Yeah,
Your
yeah.
team was on the cusp, and it just didn't happen. You have something
Well,
like that?
if you can see, I'm wearing my Yankee hat. I know, and this is gonna hurt for those who follow the Yankees, for those of us who have been watching the Yankees for a long, long time. In 2004, Yankees in Boston, they were playing. Yankees actually went ahead. They were winning the series, the best of four, the best of seven. Yankees went ahead 3 games against 0.
I think I remember that series
against Boston.
Who was their pitcher?
Schilling was
Schilling,
pitching,
Kurt Schilling.
for Boston. Pedro
Yeah.
Martinez was in that
Yes.
mix as well, and so was just 1 game away to win everything. Yankees was just needed 1 game. Boston came back, and they did something that had never been done until that point.
Yeah.
They actually came back and won the four consecutive games to the Yankees, and that 2004 was heartbreaking. That was tough. It was. I mean, just imagine just being
Yeah.
1 game away, and out of the
Lose
next
4
four,
in a row.
you just need to win one,
Yeah.
and they lost all 4 of them. That was
Yeah.
difficult to process. That was hard, because we in sports, you can say, when you're so close, we can say you can see the finish line, you can see the prize, you can see that is about to.
Yeah, they were printing the T-shirts and everything.
They were ready. No, for 4 days. Because after the third game that the Yankees won, they went every single game with that shirt, saying, we're the win. We won.
Yeah.
And they couldn't use those.
They were getting
shirts.
ready. Yeah,
they were getting ready.
Yes, yeah.
So for 4 games they were getting, and they lost. So
was that the
disappointing.
series? Was that the series? Because Kurt Schilling, I think I remember this.
Yeah,
Kurt,
yeah.
but didn't they have another pitcher, Randy, the unit?
No, that was 2004. So Schilling was playing, and Schilling and Pedro Martinez were playing for Boston. They were awesome pitchers. They were really good. But that was disappointing.
Yeah, I think
again, that has been it's probably one of the most heartbreaking moments in the history of the Yankees, of
Yeah.
course, because after being so close, and then you just lose everything from the Boston, because we're not talking about just that they just lost a series, because
They lost to Boston.
to Boston, who is a rival, is a big,
Arch
rival,
enemy.
and so that one
Yeah,
was difficult.
You
That
know,
was difficult.
for me, I don't watch that much football these days just because it's just so busy. But I used to love to watch football. And if there's one, when I think of heartbreak or almost heartbreak, I remember watching the game, and I actually was able to find the video of it. This was the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing against the Indianapolis Colts, and they were in the playoffs. And the Steelers were a good team, but they were trying to get past the Colts. The Colts were a very good team. And so I got a video here. I'll show you real quick. I can talk while it's happening. They were on the goal line just about, and the Steelers have the ball. The running back takes it in, and he fumbles the ball. Someone hits him, and the ball pops up, and everybody's screaming. He's running. He's got a free. I mean, nobody except the quarterback, and the quarterback falls down. Ben Roethlisberger at the last minute grabs him by the ankle and knocks him down. He saved the touchdown, saved also the game because the Steelers were able to save the game, and they went to the Super Bowl that year and won.
Wow.
Why I remember this is because I was sitting on my couch. I was just, sitting watching the game, enjoying it, and I wanted the Steelers to win. I was rooting for these guys, man. And as soon as that football popped out, I jumped out of my couch and I said, "No!" like the stuff you see on TV. This for real though. I jumped out.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, "What happened? What happened?" And I'm yelling, "No!" And then he stopped them, and I never had. I mean, I felt my heart pound.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how sports can just get you so wrapped up, you know.
Yeah.
But as I said, the podcast is not about sports. At least I'm not an expert. I'm not expert enough to talk about it intelligently beyond what I just shared. Today we want to talk about disappointment, right?
Yes, that's right.
We want to talk about disappointment, but what are the things that stem from being disappointment? Anger, frustration, and you don't make the best decisions under those conditions, right?
Yeah, definitely. And when we experience disappointments in life, it's like, the idea of the sense of, I'm just ready to give up, and that is when you need to know who you really are.
That's right.
Of course, in God, and because He will never give up in any of us. You cannot give up on your faith because things are not going well, just because.
Right.
And every day we feel it's almost a battle, every single day I feel like we have to go out and battle. This is an ongoing battle against the enemy.
Right.
Satan is trying for us to lose every game, every single day. That's his goal. He's our enemy. He's trying to make sure that we're lost. That there's no for the idea of give up, or the idea of thinking that in this game that we are today, we're gonna lose our battle. There's no hope. I don't see a way out. I'm going through so much pain, and so we feel like we're praying to God, and we feel the disappointment, and it's difficult. It's difficult, but it is during those times and those moments when we are dealing with that, when we need to know again who we are and also in who we trust.
Right. That's
Right?
right.
Because our coach is always telling us, "Hey, this is it. Keep going, keep battling. It's not over. We still have time left. we can
Don't
overcome.
give up.
We cannot give up." Again, this is a lot of difficult lessons that we can take out of games and put into our personal walk with God. And just because we lost a game, that doesn't mean God is giving us in us, right?
Right.
As followers of Jesus.
There's quite a few analogies here that we can make, but so that I can try to make this clear, if you're not a big sports fan and you're like, "Well, I don't know if I want," look, imagine being told that you're going to get a promotion. Imagine being told, "Look, you've put in the time. Everybody recognizes your value. You're going to get a promotion," and at the last minute, the boss decides to give the promotion to someone else. Imagine that you are a health nut, that you exercise regularly, you eat well, you sleep well, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you try to do the right thing, and then all of a sudden you go to the doctor and they tell you you have cancer.
Yeah.
Imagine taking advice from a friend about a relationship, You have something going on in your life and somebody that you trust, they seem really wise, they give you advice and they tell you this will help save your marriage or this will uh, help your relationship with your child. You follow that advice, but what you did was just made the situation worse.
Yeah.
And so you didn't just lose. These are instances where you lose big and your heart gets ripped out. Believe it or not, that has, as this is what we're talking about, that has something in common with sports because you can put everything you got into it. It's interesting, even as a fan, you feel like you put everything you got into it like the players do. And you feel the loss. Maybe not to the same level, but you still feel that loss. So we're talking about this very thing. So, we're talking about coaches and plays and things, but don't get hung up on the words because there is connection here. What do you do when life is unfair? When you do the right thing and you still lose. And so that's what we're talking about today.
So a couple of things for me, again, being faithful.
Yeah.
When we have to encounter those moments when life is not fair, we have trying our best to to be healthy or to be good parents or to be a good husband or whatever the case may be.
I think we have a verse for that. Let me bring this up here. Hebrews 12 verse 3 and 4. I like this verse. Let me read it to our folks here. Consider him who endured from sinners such hostility against himself, so that you may not grow weary or faint-hearted in your struggle against sin, that you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood. This verse is really what the writer is saying. Look, don't quit, don't give up, because as bad as you may have it, there are people that have had it worse, and one that has had it worse than you is Jesus.
That's right.
And so you should think about this. Sometimes we feel like we get into the woe is me, right? And nobody has it worse than me. And we stay and sit in that negativity, that cloud of negativity. And you don't make good decisions when you're negative.
No, you're right. So again, the point of being faithful, even though when things are not going well. And also, I think it's important for us to remember that we cannot think about this. God cannot be defined by the outcomes. So sometimes, just because we are going through something, that doesn't mean, well, God is not here with me anymore. Look what I'm going through. I've been serving God. I have been preaching. I've been praying, coming to church, doing Bible studies. I'm doing things for my community, and God is not there. It seems like, I'm all alone. But again, just because things are going bad or you are facing a difficult situation, you're going through challenges and obstacles, that doesn't mean that we cannot define God based on outcomes, because God is not like that. He's faithful, he's good. He's consistent in his mercy and his love and everything he's offered, right? By the way, the Bible says that God's mercies are new every single day. So, just because we are going through something, we cannot define God based on the situation that we are going through.
Right.
And that's the word, we are going through. And I want you to know that whatever you're going through right now, you're not going through alone. God is going with you.
That's right.
So, again, we cannot define God based on
outcomes. I love that statement. You can't define God by the outcome. In Bible times, I know you know this, but in Bible times, there was this belief that if you had good things happening to you, if you were being blessed, it meant that God was happy with you.
Yeah.
But if you had bad things happen, if you had an illness, if you had a child that was born with some type of a handicap of some kind or something wrong, that it's because you don't have God's favor. So they tie good things with God loving you, and they tie negative things with, oh, God doesn't love you for one reason or another. But you cannot define God by the outcome in your life. God is always, that's powerful. I think that's something that you need to settle in your mind now before the challenges in life come, because that's a tough time to try and learn those things. For me, there's something that I make the jump between sports and life, because there are times that you run into people who have had a bad experience growing up, and you find that their present is heavily impacted by their past. It's to me, I see it as a sad thing. Can you imagine, and we've all been there. I mean, you had bad things happen in your life, But if you allow those things to impact who you are today, then you're just continuing on doing to yourself what somebody did to you in the past. There's a in sports, you know that there are some athletes that once they do something this really bad, some of those guys can never recover.
That's right.
And they may have been great. They may have had a bright, shining trajectory, but after that mistake, they have confidence issues for the rest of their career. There's a text here I want to just share with you because, again, we're talking about sports, now life. It's Philippians chapter 3, verse 13 and 14. This is Paul. He said, "Brothers, I do not consider that I have made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus."
Wow.
You know, one of the things that if you're suffering from a letdown, if you're suffering from just your heart's been broken, whatever it may be, and you want to move forward, but you can't. Have you ever said that? I want to move forward, but I can't, or I can't let this go, or you know, you are traumatizing yourself all over again. And there is one person who loves it when you do that. That's the devil,
That's
right? So do yourself a favor. Take your eyes off of the rearview mirror and look through the front, and don't worry about what happened in the past. All you can do is control what happens today, right?
Yeah, that's right. And when you mention, you know, sometimes we look at what's going on with us. Sometimes we look to what we have done. We look back to the past. Keep our eyes to the future, right? And speaking about how we look and how we view ourselves, I think you have an image that I think is important for us to reflect on. It's and just going back to sport real quick because I think this is an important lesson here. You were telling me that in football they have these camera, right?
Oh, yes,
Perhaps
yeah.
because I
Want to
think
bring that up?
I think this is good
Okay.
because
Explain what
gives,
this is. Yeah.
it gives a different perspective and how we when we are dealing with something, how we just view what is in front of us, but there's somebody who's have a clear picture and more amplified picture
That's
of
right.
what we are looking at. So
So this
explain to us what's going
okay.
on.
Well, this right here is a view from inside the helmet
Hmm.
of a football player. So let's say this is the quarterback. This is what the quarterback sees when he's in the middle of the game and when he's playing. Now, what I have here is now that's what the player sees. This is what the coach sees.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what the coaches see when they're thinking about what to do, what the next play is going to be. If you've ever not understood why things happen the way they should, you know, if you've ever had, you feel, let's take it to the spiritual realm. Let's say you are a believer. You believe in Jesus. You've tried to be faithful. You're trying to do the right thing. But all of a sudden, the course, something changes and you're tempted to get angry at God. But you should remember that picture. Remember that view. You only see a little bit, a little slice of reality.
Right.
But your coach, if Jesus is your coach,
Yeah.
your coach sees the entire field.
Yeah, and it is a powerful example because sometimes we just want to look what is right in front of us.
Yeah.
We don't want to look ahead. So we don't have the ability actually to look ahead to see what is going on, but a coach can see.
Yeah.
And if we are obedient, right, if we listen to the instructions, I think we'll have a better understanding, you know, how can we move forward. And this is just different example in the sports. And perhaps one day we'll talk about one of the sports that I really like as well is running, you know. And there is one particular that is for people with special needs that and
The Special
the
Olympics.
Special Olympics. Those are powerful games, and we'll talk more. But there's one race in particular. There's two guys who they run and they are blind. One of them is blind, and in order for us to run together, one is the guy, and the other one is the runner, but he's blind, so he needs to follow the one who can see. But again, you know, they're running together, and when you see the video, and again,
Really?
we'll talk probably hopefully
Yeah.
one more.
Look forward to that.
But the point is that if we want to move forward, just because you don't see everything, we can have a guide in God who can tell us this is what you need to do. This is the way I see things. If you just stay with me, if you just follow and be obedient, you're gonna be able to see what I'm seeing. But you have to be patient.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined because we have to have the discipline to listen. We have to be humble to listen to what God is saying. Sometimes we feel like because we have just a simple view of what we are seeing right in front of us, we think that that's the whole view.
Right.
There's nothing else. But God is saying, if you just wait, if you just, I wish you can see what I'm able to see.
Yeah.
Things will be better.
That's
But
right.
it's hard though. It's hard when you're going through something to think that there's a way out.
Right.
And the reality is there is a way out, and God is gonna help us to be able to see what He's trying to teach us. Yeah, the question is, are we willing to see?
Right.
Are we willing to listen? Are we willing to be humble and to be disciplined? Right.
There are two things that when I think of disappointment, when I think of things like, again, we're taking the football analogy and bringing it into regular life. But when you have something disappointing, like, well, what happened with the Buffalo Bills? You know that after that game, after they lost that game, the offensive head coach, I believe, if I have it right, the offensive head coach the offensive line coach, Aaron Cromer, immediately retired right after that. And then the Buffalo Bills fired the head coach, Sean McDermott. They just fired him. Yeah. And so the idea or the message is that, they didn't like the outcome. And so somebody had to pay for that mistake. Yeah. And they got rid of the coach. Now, I don't know enough about the coach, did he deserve it or not? I'm not sure. If you're a fan, let me know. But I just want to talk about what happens when your life explodes and falls apart. So you blame the coach. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you blame the plays that were called. Yeah. So we don't like the playbook.
That's right.
So let's say if I'm going to take that from the sports world and bring it into the real world, what would be the equivalent of the playbook, and what would be the equivalent of your coach?
Oh, that's a good one. Again, I have to reflect on that, because that's sometimes we just feel like we have to do something right away, and letting people go and firing people. It's a way to say, well, we are doing something. We are doing something. Was that the right decision? I guess something that
right.
we need to reflect, and time will tell. But I'm also thinking, on how, again, everybody's trying to blame each other, right? The coach is walking out, he's fired, and the players are upset. But this idea of understanding, first of all, understanding that just because the season ends for the Buffalo Bills, that doesn't mean that our season it ends today. You see what I'm saying?
But it can feel like
it can feel like
it. Well, but listen.
So we can talk about it.
You just steered into something, though.
But you know what I'm saying? So how people sometimes, when they go through something, they feel like the whole world is collapsing right in front of them.
Yeah.
Everything ends. Just like the Buffalo. The season ends, they won't be able to play anymore for this year.
Right.
Into the season, the next season.
That's right.
How do you deal with that? Just, is your season ending? Do you feel like everything is about to end? How you react to it, how you respond to it. I would like to say that, there's still hope. There's still hope in Jesus. In Jesus, and
Pastor, you just steered into something. I wasn't planning on going there. I didn't think about it, but there are people when things go bad, as some of the examples we talked about earlier, when things go bad, things don't go their way, and their life is completely, it's over in their mind. It's over. Some people want to quit the game.
Yeah.
Meaning they don't even want to live anymore.
That's right.
And you should never make a decision when you're angry. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've not run into a situation yet, and maybe there is, but I've not run into a situation yet where making a decision when you're angry actually provided a better outcome. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to even your own life, if you want to quit the game, so to speak. But you know what? A thought came into my mind to just go back a little bit. By the way, suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. And we're here. TryJesusAuburn.com. TryJesusAuburn@gmail.com. If you need to talk to anyone, one of us, we're here for you.
Yes. I just want to just make emphasis on that.
We weren't planning on going there, but
no. But again, we're talking about how for a lot of people feel like this is the end. Yeah. But your season is not over. I guess that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
point. Whatever you're going through is not over. It's not the end. There's still hope. Whatever you're thinking, I hope that if you are thinking of something that it's your mind is clouded, is not in the right direction, there's hope, and you can reach out to us. You can send a text here, send a comment. We will pray for you. We would like to just spend time with you,
That's right.
and to remind you there's still hope. There's opportunities. There's a lot of places that we can go and to receive hope.
Right.
And also, of course, there's just one person that is available for us 24/7, every day, all the time.
Yeah.
It's a head coach.
Our head
He will
coach,
never
the
give
Lord
up, right?
Jesus.
He will never be fired. And you can always count on him any moment.
That's right.
Just cry out
That's right.
and ask for help. He will help you.
Let me say this, that I think you said something that, again, I want to twist the sports term. There's always next season.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you, and again, sports to life, if something unfair has happened, something painful has happened, you thought something was going to be really good and it turned out to be horribly, horribly bad, and you're thinking about this, you're thinking about maybe tossing away your coach, maybe you're thinking about quitting on life, I want to point you to a sports lesson. People like Michael Jordan came back from retirement playing baseball, headed to the NBA. They were this close from winning a game against the Orlando Magic, and Michael Jordan had the ball stripped, and they had lost that series. You know what he did? Instead of waiting a few months to start working out for the next season, the very next day he was in the gym. He didn't quit. Kobe Bryant, same mentality.
Yeah.
These are sports figures. I'm not talking about their personal lives, but these are sports figures who said, I'm not going to give up. There's always next season.
That's right.
And you mentioned something before we started recording about God's mercies being new every day.
Every day.
And so you get to start over every day, no matter how bad it is.
That's right.
But you have to have the right coach.
Yeah.
And you got to be working with the right playbook.
Yeah.
Which the playbook that we go by is the word of the living God, the Holy Bible.
Yeah.
Pastor, there's one verse that I want to share,
Sure.
and then I'm going to give you the last word here. Sometimes, well, another sports analogy.
Yeah.
You follow basketball?
I do. I do follow.
Do you remember the story of the Chicago Bulls when Jordan was coming up as a kind of not he'd been playing for the Bulls a few years before they could get to their first championship? They had to get through the Detroit Pistons, and the Pistons were the bad boys. They used to, I mean, they got mugged every time they played the Pistons, but they had to fight, grow stronger and stronger and stronger. But looking back, those guys are saying, look, we had to do that because it toughened us up and allowed us to develop the character we needed to become champions. So they needed to go through that, even though they didn't want to. There's a verse in the Bible, okay? Here's a text here that says, Romans 8:28, we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. One of the hardest things that you will have to do in life is to face disappointment, to face heartbreak, and to face failure, frankly, to fail. And you're going to hit wall after wall after wall. And you may not see it now, but there will be one day down the road, you will look back, and if you have stuck with your coach, if you stayed with the right playbook, you'll be able to see, I'm getting tongue-tied here, the way God weaved through all those different experiences to mold you into the person that you are today. Even, and maybe your failures do more to shape your character than your successes. Yeah. It's one of the hardest lessons of life we need to learn.
That's right.
Right. So don't give up. Don't give up.
Well, I'm thinking this Sabbath, this Saturday, I'm actually going to be speaking at Union Springs Church.
What time?
My time, 11 a.m.
Okay, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Union Springs Church. You're looking for a good sermon? I'm going to be here at 11 as well.
So, of course, if you are in the urban area, you need to stop.
One or the other. We'd love to have you.
If you're in the Union Springs area, I would love to see you there. My subject for this Saturday is something new. Something new. So we're thinking about new seasons and new hopes and new things, right? So we are 20-something days into a new year. For a lot of us, we have this idea that we have to wait for a particular time to start something new. But I really believe that the new season for us in Jesus is today. We don't need to wait for the new season, for the big. And I know sometimes we use the idea Well, we're lost, but there's always a new season, which is true, and we use that to bring hope and excitement. But today, I hope that all of us can get excited to know that the new season for us can start right now, at this very moment. Because with Jesus in our heart, I feel like this is the most wonderful season that all of us can start. We don't need to wait until spring, because that's when the baseball start, right? We don't need to wait until September, when football season start. We can start something new right now, and that ability, God can give us that something new that we wish to start. So whatever that is, whatever new you would like to, in a spiritual sense, and I feel like God can do that for us right at this moment. So the new season start right now.
That's right. So your new season is really just a prayer away. Isn't
That's
that
right.
right? That's
That's right.
amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. We would love to have that prayer with you. TryJesusAuburn.com. TryJesusAuburn.com. TryJesusAuburn@gmail.com. And while we're kind of wrapping this up, let me just say that we are just a few weeks away from you seeing some changes here. I've been talking about it. It's coming. We're going to be changing what we're doing with this podcast from Try Jesus Auburn to Try Jesus New York, where we're going to be having other pastors as part of a roundtable discussion where we do things like this, share the word of God in an authentic conversation style format. Now, Pastor Claudio and I are still going to be doing these,
Yes.
but we're going to be doing these and Try Jesus New York.
That's right.
Because we still care about Auburn, we care about this area, and that fire is still burning in us. We don't want other people. We need to play the game.
But we need to play. We're still in the game, right?
That's
We're
right.
still in the game.
We're still in the game. We still got the fire.
Maybe
so.
one day we share the story how we were playing a basketball game. You and I were playing together as a team.
Oh yes.
And we actually were against two younger guys, and
they should have won. They should have beat.
We'll share the story with you another time, but you need to keep watching if you want to hear the story.
Pastor Claudio, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And for those who are part of the Try Jesus Auburn family, thank you for tuning in. Again, our condolences to all you Bills fans out there, guys. Listen, I'm sorry, but guess what? There's always next season. So don't quit, don't give up.
That's right.
And let's all hope that the Patriots don't win their next game. Because then I'm going to need an intervention.
Don't tell that to my son. He's gonna
God bless you. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time. Hey, before you go, I want to invite you to become a digital missionary. You can do that by taking the link for this podcast and emailing it to a friend, or taking the link to this podcast and posting it on your own social media feeds. In doing that, you'll be sharing the good news with your community and your world, and they'll thank you for it.
Auburn, lift your voice and see. Try Jesus. Try